everybody, and hello again from Ljubljana Talks here at IMEX from Frankfurt 2024. An amazing event. So much has been happening here, and with Goras we have two amazing guests here. Of course, Carina Bauer from IMEX and Petra Stušek from Ljubljana Tourism. Now, it is an absolute pleasure to have you guys. I know you've talked to each other and you've talked before and you know what the Ljubljana Talks are all about. But at first, let me say thank you for support of both of you so that me and Goras can do what we are doing. Because without both of your help, we would not be here. And I can just say it is an amazing experience to be able to talk to so many people and to share this knowledge that we record here, you know, to the audiences, so the people that are now busy with their meetings, that are busy with their program, they can go back and look at this stuff and, you know, grow. And I think growth is something that is very important for all of us. You have an amazing hall next to us that is basically full of content and really interesting education. So Carina, the first question I will have is actually, it is connected with experience design, but also with growth. How important is that for IMEX?
Well, the experience design is something that we've put a lot into at IMEX over the past few years in particular. We really started working on it intentionally, I would say, in the past 5 to 6 years. And we really started to understand the importance of engaging everybody's senses in different ways. Also, creating areas for different personalities, for different types of people, and for different times in the show. We're really understanding the need to design an experience where people are on, if they're in this hall and they're doing business and they're networking, but that they have an opportunity to come down, focus on their content, focus on themselves sometimes, their personal development, or just have some space to recharge a little bit. So all of these things are very important, and we look at everything from the look and feel to the flow to the sounds and also the smells. And it's an exciting project for the team to work on. They really enjoy it, and it's made a massive difference, I think, to people's experience of the show.
Petra, question for you. What has remained the same in event design, which inspires you? And what is actually completely different from our beginnings, I would say?
It's important to have traditions, meaning that you're familiar with some parts. So in the event design, it's important to know, I'm talking now from the participant's perspective, to know when you come here what to expect. That's definitely important. However, when I'm changing my hat to the leadership position, what I find like super important and also innovative, particularly in this type of big event where, which is a global one, and people from all over the world are coming here, that you are taking care of the leaderships. It's, you know why? It's kind of this well-being of the leadership is now being finally nurtured and heard, because it is so self-explanatory that the leaders need to be all-inclusive, empathetic, of creating this safe psychological space. But who's taking care of the leaders? And that is what I really, really love here, is that we're having these tough talks. And I'm a fan of them, and I go there every day. And there are, for example, there are topics upon the anxiety among the leaders. The not alone. I mean, you guys are not affected or not are not affected by that. However, we would be talking today even how, I don't know, menopause is affecting as a leadership. This is a groundbreaking.
That was a taboo,
thing.
I would
Seriously.
say. Huh?
So congrats for the idea and for the courage to do it, and for all of the for a lot of participants to actually have a courage to go there and speak up, because that's also not easy, even though we are leaders, you know. So yeah, that's.
Thanks, Petra. Well, in the next minutes we will sail through the content of IMEX. That's our idea. So that was the topic of experience design. We start with that, but now we are going to technology. We talked a lot about that these 2 days. And I will start with Petra. Do you believe artificial intelligence can replace destination convention bureaus? And when?
Are you putting the words in my mouth with and when?
And of course, I will ask almost the same question to Carina.
You know it? No, I do not believe it.
Yeah.
I believe that it's actually a wider question, obviously. Is it going to replace a human being? No, it just depends on how smart are we going to be. It can be, it will be, not it can be, it will be, or it is, not it will be, it is. So it's the answer to your next question is now. It will be a big asset if you're smart as a destination to use it for let's put it in the most simple way, to answer the questions that humans are fed up with, or to do the simple organizing part of, not simple, even complex, the complex organizing part of the event. However, this type of event, all types of event, have this human component, which will never, in my very firm opinion, will never be replaced, and will always demand a human touch. And I really stand behind that. Yeah.
And Carina, of course, logical questions: can artificial intelligence replace business trade shows?
Similarly to what Petra said, I think studies have already shown, studies by the likes of McKinsey, that managers or people, workers, if you like, who use artificial intelligence can be more productive than those that don't. And so I think it's very important, whether you're a trade show organizer, whether you're a DMO, whether you're a management consultant, that you learn how to use AI in order to upskill your work, in order that you can have these simple things or complex administrative transactional tasks done more quickly, and allow you and your workforce to really focus on what we're good at as human beings, which is relationships and creativity and strategic work as well. And that's what I think can't be replaced. So I don't think, and that's why I think business trade shows, business events, in fact, won't be replaced. What I actually think is the opposite will happen. I think as more kids come through, very focused on tech, more remote work, very tech enabled, they are going to want to connect with people even more. And you're even seeing a trend now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there is a group, there's a trend amongst youngsters to put away their phones, disconnect from social media, and for a really harking back to a time when life was a little bit simpler. And I think this is a trend that's just starting now. And I don't say that people are going to come off social media. I'm not suggesting that. But what I am saying is people are learning that it's not good to be on our devices all of the time, and being much more intentional about their human interactions. And so I think we are coming into a phase where we're learning that we need to manage the tech, not have the tech manage us. And that, I think, is good news for our industry, because our industry is about bringing human people connections together and really driving that. And I think that will be more important than ever.
I think this is a very interesting trend, and it's actually trends I wanted to ask you about in the following questions. And this one was actually very, very interesting one. Are there any other trends that you see emerging in the industry or in the association market, because you're so closely connected to it?
Yeah, so I think really the big thing is what I've just said. And, you know, what you see now is kids coming out of school, out of university, and not choosing to work in businesses or industries where they're fully remote. And again, I think this is positive for our industry. But again, it's difficult for us as an industry to speak as one voice. We know that it's harder and harder to attract top talent and to retain them. So I think these are some of the trends where we have a real opportunity because of what we do, but also we have a real challenge because we're not that good as a one voice globally at telling our story and attracting those top students in. And so I think there's a pro and a con really with those trends. But really, I think we need to learn how to use technology to our advantage. And for sure, we've seen it on the show here. Any session, even if it was a campfire with 5-10 seats, any session that had AI in the title had 60 people or more at it. So people are desperate to learn about the technology and AI. We have to learn how to harness it for our benefit.
Petra, a similar question for you. What are the trends that perhaps are the ones that you are noticing in the industry, perhaps in the corporate market, in the incentive market? Because you are also connected to the industry from perhaps a different angle. Is there some that you can share with us?
Yes, actually, apart from what Carina said, which I completely agree with, is one that I'm not only noticing, but I'm particularly happy about, which is that specifically in our business events industry, both sides, destinations and organizers, are choosing their destinations not so much according to the whatever stimulation they're getting from the destination, but according to their values. And that's such a big thing that is happening in the past 2 years that it's a really to me it's a really positive news. It's, of course, there is still a mixture of everything, but this value component is emerging so quickly and so abruptly on the business side, but also on personal side, like from the leaders or even from youngsters. They want to be part of something that they can actually participate in, that they can leave their handprint on, not even a footprint anymore. So it's like this is really emerging fast, and it's in my personal perspective, it's a light at the end of the tunnel. Not being the train approaching, but real light that is that it's gonna make the world better. We often say that we are making the world better, and we are, through researches and through everything that meetings or business events industry is, with the legacy and impact and involving science producing. However, adding this component is actually really. We're going towards building up the better world because we do need it. Not only in huge brackets, environmental side, but also societal side, and economical, which we tend to often forget now in the environmental and more societal side. Sorry. Yeah.
Point 4 was business practices in the program. And you won't believe, we talked a lot with Jan, with our guests, about Eurovision Song Contest. Mm-hmm. On one side, it was actually a high-tech event. Do you probably agree? You probably agree with that. But on the other side, it was also emotional, inclusive, sometimes exclusive. So my question to both of you is: high-tech or high-touch?
Both.
Both. Okay. Petra.
Definitely both. Both, because I love high tech. I was drawn to the show. Okay. However, we we really need to be empathetic, and the high touch is empathetic side. We do need that.
Amazing. Yeah. Jan, go on.
So we touched on AI already, but there's of course one topic that kind of lingers, because we are at one of the trade shows that are so significant for our industry, which I think we all agree on the trends that you're saying. We are making changes, but we have to be smart about it. We have to harness the power. How do you see IMEX as a trade show can harness the power of AI, perhaps in connecting people or any other ways?
I think there are lots of ways that as IMEX or trade shows can utilize AI. We're already using it and learning how to use it internally for many to improve and become more efficient at many of our processes and systems. So to give you an example, for our hosted buyer program, we refund the flights of the buyers, and that is thousands and thousands of documents that those 4,000 hosted buyers are uploading to our system that need to be checked, etc. So you're ready for this show. All of the documentation went through a first check by an AI. We were still checking that the computer's working, we're teaching it, but we can see how it can help us internally with those processes. On the side for our clients, certainly we hope to be able to harness AI to improve the ability of the system to make recommendations between buyers and suppliers who are here, recommendations of who to meet, what sessions you might be interested in. It needs enough data. It needs the right data to be able to do that, and it needs to be able to learn from people's behavior online. So that doesn't happen in an instant, but you can see this chink of light of how it could really help people. People want serendipity when they come to an event like this, but they also want a lot of intentionality and that's what we were talking about earlier. And when we talk about the impact of an event and being careful about our impact, people want to go to events increasingly where they know they will meet the right people, where that won't just happen by chance. So spontaneity is important, but we also need to give people the tools to make sure they can find the right people at this event that are going to be able to help them with whatever challenge it is they have. And so I think AI will be able to help with that. We're not there yet, but that's some of the ways that I think it can help.
Great. And talking about exciting times, Petra, you are, of course, involved with destination marketing. And we are in a time and space where this is changing. So if we had unlimited resources, how do you see destination marketing? What kind of tools and activities do you think will be relevant as we go forward?
First of all, there's a scenario that will never happen with unlimited resources. So it's yeah, it's almost like a vision in the strategies, which is always visionary, but also fairy tale, which is supposed to be. But your question was actually more towards the tools, right? It's like what Carina said earlier. We are all still learning on destinations how to use AI on several or from several angles to the benefit of destinations, because this is where it brings us closer. Not so far ago, it was all about the how do you call it? Like, for example, the gaming jackets where you could put it on and you could feel the sun, and then you would, or the breeze, and you would put on the glasses for VR experience. That's gone. No one actually demands that in marketing. No one actually is attracting that. So we really don't know what tools are going to be next year, let alone in 5 years. But they're coming, and we will have to be quick. That's why this self wellness is so important, that we take care of ourselves, because the world is changing so quick, like never ever in human history, and that's the biggest danger, in my opinion, right now, to all of us. So we're going to be using all the tools that will become. But the tricky part will be how to extract the right one to different destinations, because the fact is that destinations are so different one from another, and in the past, the marketing theory was the same for everyone. That does not apply anymore, and will never ever apply again.
Amazing. We are coming to well-being. So the definition of well-being by World Health Association is that this is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But I will start with Petra. Petra, did you notice and participate in any of the activities here at IMEX? Because there is a lot of that.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you share something with our audience of those activities?
I'm regularly going to the one at the end of the day where I can take off the shoes and shake myself things up with Janet. So it's a physical well-being, because for the mental well-being is taking care of throughout the day, two sides. I'm meeting the right people here, and I'm going to the sessions that are relevant to me. So that's my mental well-being. However, for the physical, I'm going there at the end of the day, which is like literally physical well-being, and not to mention IMEX run.
Amazing.
To start the day with.
Carina, how do you ensure well-being for your team? Because it's a huge team behind the scenes. We do not see a lot of people here actually, but we know that team is huge.
Well, actually, most of the team are here. Yeah, so we have.
People not on the floor.
Oh, yeah, most of the people are here. Actually, it's a small and mighty team. But yeah, we in terms of during the show, one of the things is being resourced well enough so that everybody, whilst they're running the event, is able to do their job well. They have support. They're not running around in some kind of chaotic way. So part of that is the planning that we put into the show, and then also making sure that on the site we're well resourced to do all the jobs to the quality level that we want for our clients and expect of ourselves. I think that's really important. That's important both physically and mentally when you're on site running an event. And a lot of that is about basic planning. But also, we try to make sure they eat well, that they have time to rest as well. And, we're talking to them about that. When we're during the year, we do a lot for our team in terms of well-being. We have quite a comprehensive employee well-being program and engagement program, a lot of opportunities, whether it's we have mental health first aiders within the team. We have support leave that people can take. So we have a lot of different programs. And I think probably the most popular one is in the few weeks running up to the show, we have a massage therapist come into the office a couple of days a week just to give some massages. And we all enjoy that one the most, I think. Yeah.
I think after 2 days of IMEX, we're all thinking about that message right now. But let me go back on something that has also been a very big topic in the industry and in general in economy. We know that the ESRS regulation is coming to force. A lot of companies are already obliged to report. And this is a game changer in how we look at sustainability, and within a couple of years, everybody will have to oblige. What does that mean for you? How are you looking at the new regulation and how does it affect you?
Yeah, I'm pleased you brought that up. I think it's critical, not just for us as a business, but for our industry as a whole to really understand the need to look at sustainability much more holistically. I was interviewing somebody earlier in a session, Danny Pecorelli, who is the first B Corp hotel group in the UK. And, he was really talking about the need to look at people, planet and purpose all together, and profit all together. It's not a bad thing to make a profit. We need to make a profit as a business, but we need to do that in a responsible way, looking after the planet and looking after our people. For us at IMEX, we actually are we're developing at the moment our own ESG strategy, which is really about those three strands, which we'll be launching later in the year. As an event organizer, it's very important for us that we minimize the negative environmental effects that obviously are created by bringing people together, but we can really minimize those effects. So a small example, but a very big impact, is that the only thing left in IMEX that has single-use plastic is the small floor stickers with the booth numbers. That is the only thing left with plastic in the entire show. So, we're working towards that for many years. So from an organizing perspective, we're able now to really start minimizing the impact. This is a zero waste event. It uses 100% renewable energy. We're working with all the stand constructors now to get the data and calculate the carbon of the individual stands, start looking at the materials of those stands and the reuse. From a travel perspective, we've just launched today actually an ability for our attendees and exhibitors to offset their travel to the show. Actually, through the registration process, we're able to calculate the carbon for people, so make it a very easy process. and picking very high quality projects, some of which actually take carbon out of the atmosphere and store it for up to 1,000 years. So really looking at those kind of projects. And then on the people side, it's really about how we recognize some of the environmental impacts, but also try to communicate the positive people and economic impacts that go with running an event like this, or indeed any event. And that's really important, because nothing we do, including breathing and being alive, has zero carbon impact. But it's important that we make sure that we're having a positive impact for the cost of that environmental impact. And we know that we do at IMEX. And the last thing I would say is that IMEX, because of the role we hold in the industry, we take very carefully that responsibility to influence and educate the industry on what they can do. So we know that there's a real multiplier effect. Anything we do here can be multiplied through thousands and thousands of other events and in destinations across the world.
I see.
A view from a IMEX, from a company, and of course a similar question for you on how do we, for you, Petra, how do you see this change that the ESRS standards are bringing now that everybody's reporting? How will the effects of innovation and change the way that we operate as destinations?
Well, obviously it's going to affect, because it's going to accelerate the way how people will be thinking. I personally find it, I'll just say it out loud, I personally find it a little bit sad that we need to be regulated, that we start to think that it's a groundbreaking change for the industry, not like really genuinely coming from inside. However, it is what it is. Thank God we have this regulations, which are going to accelerate the way how the approach to the business. Majority will. I'm really confident. Majority will be genuine, but there will be some also who will be trying to continue with. Not even green hushing, because that won't pay off, but greenwashing definitely, and be resourceful in that. You know, because so far they didn't have to be resourceful, because it was, was not so much for granted. But I'm really happy that you're actually bringing out this so openly and transparently, all, because transparency is a really big key here, because it teaches humanity in general what does it mean to be transparent, because it's not so self-explanatory as we might think, or all the measurements that you took already before this regulation will actually take place, because you're setting an example, and that's the most important thing. However, for me personally, my personal detail here is that you literally walk the talk. Because I love your sneakers, which are branded. I love them, So you do walk the talk, yeah, even from what we see.
So we are coming to the end of our nice discussion with our signature fire questions. Petra, for you, day or night?
Day.
Day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Day.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, because if I have a proper night's sleep, then I will have my day to the fullest.
Carina, it's obvious. High heels or sneakers?
Sneakers.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Carina, mountains or the sea?
Mountains.
Mountains. I will not ask you that one, Petra. I will ask you, do you prefer cooking or eating?
I actually prefer cooking. Yeah.
Great.
That answer actually surprised me too.
Guys, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for taking part at Ljubljana Talks, for all of your support. And thank you again, and have a great rest of the IMEX.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We say always power to the meetings. That's the fire.
Power to the meetings.
Power to the meetings.